This is my channel, say do an audio podcast. Um, I just recently decided to do video. Um, I think that this will be a better engagement between you and I. I've been getting some comments, and um, what I'd like to do is post this to YouTube, and then get you guys to comment there, and then we can go back and forth, have a debate. I will gladly um, come back on and answer everybody's questions. Um, that's my goal here. The other thing is, I really don't want to take a side in this about whether I'm Democrat or Republican. It really doesn't matter to me at this point. I think what's more important to me is we're American citizens and we need to pay attention to what's happening. Um, I'm sure everybody's aware of the indictments that were handed down today, that basically is now confirming that the Russians did interfere in our elections. Not only did they interfere, but they did it in a strategic way. So if you read the indictments, you'll see that they targeted specific states. Um, and what they did was they used us against ourselves. And it was actually very, I would say, genius. Um, the main platform would have been Facebook has a lot of flaws. I left Facebook about 2 years ago, um, noticing that the algorithms within Facebook were causing um, you not to go to things that you would agree with. It was taking you to things that you disagreed with. Um, for example, I was in the animal rights community, so it was taking me to hunters and things like that. Um, so I noticed right away that there was a problem with Facebook, and I left Facebook. A lot of my friends are still on there. I've talked to them about, they should leave, but I think people are pretty much addicted to Facebook. So um, this will be posted to YouTube only. I do have a friend who's going to share it to Facebook, um, and it's only because I did have quite a few people that did follow me on Facebook, so it'll reach them as well. What I want to talk about is we've got to take back what has been taken from us, and what has been taken from us is democracy. And we think right now we are living in democracy when quite honestly we're not. And I'm not going to put the blame on Trump. I'm going to put the blame on the last three presidents, because really this has been an issue that's been going on for a long time. The 1% of America is controlling all the wealth. And it's not because they're working harder than you. It's not because they are doing better than you. It's simply because the system is rigged for them to be able to capitalize. For example, when the market is crashing 1,100, 1,200 points, people like you and I that have 401ks, um, the, 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 the gal and the guy that's working, that's putting money into their 401ks, they are the ones losing money. But the rich are not. As a matter of fact, they're buying up what you're losing so that they can make even more money, because that market will come back up at a point. And they have plenty of money that they can just sit there and float it. Here's this thing that you should be asking yourself. Why doesn't the banks give you interest anymore? I mean, let's think about that for a second. The banks are doing better now than they ever have in the history of banking. And there was a time when you could get 10% interest at the bank. So if you had $1,000,000, you could put that in the bank safely and get $100,000 a year just based on the interest. But see, they stopped that and they forced you to put your money into the stock market, which has basically a rigged system for the 1%. Now, yes, you're going to make gains sometimes of $1,000, $2,000, but your losses are going to be heavier. Having, when I say more towards like the $8, $9, $10,000 losses, you're never going to make that back up. You will lose large amounts of money, but you won't gain large amounts of money. It's just not that the system is not geared for you. You're not able to make a move on stocks that you know are going to move the next day. And believe me, the 1%, they know the stocks that are going to go up. They know when the stock market's going to take a hit. So they pull their money out, and then when they see the market drop, they buy, buy, buy. And then they have good or good stock at a cheap price, which then they sell back to you, and you pay the higher price. And it's your broker that's doing it. And this goes round and round again. And the people that are the middle class and the poor are the ones that lose out. And we sit here and we think that we have choices and that we have a free society and we're able to do things that other countries aren't able to do. Yes, I'm not going to argue that we have it better than most countries that are out there, but we don't have the independence that we once had, and there's a reason for that. Even the education system is dumbing down our children so that they're good worker bees. They're going to be good for going out and doing manual labor. They're going to be good for going into a job where, they're being told what to do, maybe like a forklift operator, things like that. And I'm not putting those jobs down. I'm not. What I'm saying is those jobs don't pay what they used to pay. And your children are not going to have the ability to go out and earn millions of dollars like these CEOs because those jobs aren't going to be available for them. They're just not. You either have to know somebody or you have to have the opportunities that the rich get, which is they go to the best schools, they get to go to the best universities, so they graduate from there, and it's almost a shoo-in that their father or someone knows somebody either on Wall Street or wherever, and they get a job right away. But that's not happening for the guy that's scrapping from the very bottom. That American dream that we once had, where if you came here or just worked hard and saved your money and did all that, yeah, you can get by. And that's basically what we're doing. You can get by, but you're not going to get the wealth and the land and the opportunities that these other people are getting. And so that's not democracy, quite frankly. When 1% is controlling 90% of the wealth, that is not democracy. Now, you might think that because you can go to the grocery store and there's nobody, ask, but they have disguised it basically into this realm that you think you are free, and you're not. You're not free. You go to work every day, and you know what you were a slave to? You're a slave to the paycheck. Most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That is a fact. And the problem is that there's several issues that are going about that. One is credit cards. Credit cards were introduced so that people that can't afford something can now go out and buy that and then pay triple for it, sometimes quadruple for it. And that is where the trap comes in for the people that are making a decent living, because they are living, they're not living paycheck to paycheck per se, but they are because of the debt that they're in. And I'm not even talking about school debt. That's insane. These kids are coming out of college and they're so far in debt, they'll never pay that back. No matter how long they work, unless they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. So what do we do about it? That's the question. Do we sit here like we have been and continue to go to work every day, pay your taxes, you know, hope your congressman's going to do his job, elect another idiot president. And if you voted for Trump, I'm sorry, I'm not just talking about him, I'm talking about every one of them. They're complete crooks. Your congressmen, your state representatives, your presidents, they're all crooks. I mean, just look what's happening every day on the television. There's someone else that's caught up in some scandal, using government funds to fly their family around at your expense. And we're not outraged over this. The reason you're not outraged over this is because you're too busy going to that job to feed your kids, to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage. And all the while, they're just stealing and stealing. Americans used to run around and say, oh my God, all my money goes to, helping the welfare recipients. That's not true. All your money's going to help the rich. That's who you're paying for, the rich. It's not the welfare recipients. You're not paying for them. You're paying for the 1%. You're giving the 1% what they want, which is your property, your investments, your 401k, and they're taking it from you. They're not even coming in and doing it like in a sly way. They're blatantly stealing it from you. I mean, let's take Wells Fargo. Let's just look at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo literally was stealing from their clients, opening up fake accounts under their names and charging them for them. And they're still in business. People I know are still lining up to put their money into Wells Fargo's bank. That's insane. You might as well go invest with Bernie Madoff. What's the difference? Why would you give a bank money that stole from you or from thousands of its clients? The reality is Wells Fargo can't even make it. It's going bankrupt because the only way it could stay afloat was by stealing. And guess what? Your Congress just voted to take away the class action lawsuits for you to sue that bank. So now if you do want to sue that bank, you personally have to sue the bank, which means you have to hire an attorney and do all that. Who can afford that? You know what the answer is? The 1%. But we go about our day and we just say, what are we going to do about it? There's nothing we can do about it. What are we going to do? I don't know what the answer is. I honestly don't. Some days I want to scream. Some days I want to take up arms. Not that I'm doing that, FBI, CIA, relax. But we got to do something. We can't just keep sitting here and putting up people that lie to us, tell us they're going to drain the swamp. Let me tell you something. The swamp is overflowing. And they're getting richer and richer and richer at your expense. If you were a Obama hater and a Trump lover, he has golfed more than Obama ever did and cost you more in tax dollars for him to fly down here. I live not far from here, from Mar-a-Lago. It's ridiculous. He's probably the laziest president we've ever had. And he's done nothing that he said he's going to do. And let's talk about the Russia thing. Because that's a serious issue that I think a lot of people just, quite frankly, think is a joke. Or like he likes to call hoax. We know that's not true anymore. I don't know how many indictments we're up to. 16, 17? And the ones today that dropped, or Friday, excuse me, that dropped, specifically say that these Russians targeted our elections. So I don't know. You tell me, is it a hoax? Is it a joke anymore? I know one thing. As an American patriot, I'm pissed off. I'm real pissed off. Russians aren't your friends. Russians have never been our friends. When have we ever thought that? When? I don't understand in this country where the Republican Party, which I used to be a part, I was in the Republican Party. They were the last ones that would prop Russia up. Are you kidding me? And I'm saying, let's throw all the crazy stuff up to the side. Hillary Clinton, her emails, all that, we'll get to her. Seriously, we'll get to her. If she did something wrong, then we will lock her up. But you know what? We need to lock up the clear and present danger right now, which is whoever is involved in the meddling that went on in our elections. Now, I'm not saying the president hasn't been indicted yet. I'm not saying him. But everybody who's been indicted so far, that it's treason. As far as I'm concerned, if an American citizen gets caught doing it, they need to leave this country immediately. That's the punishment. I don't want them here. I don't want them going to a prison that I got to pay my tax dollars for them to sit there and get them 3 meals a day, dental and health, mental health. They get better benefits in jail than I get. So, if you're as upset as I am, I'd love for you to comment on this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Because I don't know where we're heading. This isn't good. That I can tell you. We are heading for a very dangerous time if we don't pay attention to what's happening. And democracy's been gone for a while. And you can continue thinking that you're free and all that, and I get it. Hey, you got a good job, things are going good, you get to play golf every weekend, things are nice. But don't you want to have the same ability to earn or to gain what the 1% is able to do? And it's not that they're better than you. It's not that they're smarter than you. It's not that they worked harder than you. Donald Trump, let me tell you something, has not worked a day in his life harder than anybody on the planet. The guy that rakes the leaves out here works harder than Donald Trump. That's a fact. He's a lazy person. So the misnomer of, oh, these people work so hard, believe me, I'll take you to Palm Beach. You can see how hard they work. They're not working hard. That's for sure. Now there is people, don't get me wrong, that are hard workers, that have self-made, millionaires or billionaires even. There is. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the elite establishment that was supposed to be, Donald Trump was supposed to go and take them out. He hasn't done any of that. He has just brought them all in, sat them at the table, and fed them. Fed them so much that they're stuffed to the max. So, again, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. We'll debate it. I don't want it to be, one of those things where, you're just going to say, Donald Trump's the greatest, MAGA. Don't give me that. That's not an answer. That's not a debate. Let's seriously talk about it. I'm not taking a side. If you can prove to me that Donald Trump is doing something really good, without just saying MAGA, then I'd love to see it. And ask yourself one other question now that these indictments came down and we know for sure Russia interfered in these elections. Ask yourself, why hasn't Donald Trump enacted the sanctions that Congress unanimously passed? Ask yourself that. And then you tell me if he's got your best interest at heart or what exactly is going on here. Because it's our future, not his.